Greetings and welcome back to Elysium Rays. This is your channel for Raid Shadow Legends video, and let's jump right into it. Last week I think we said that we were gonna do a Hydra video for this week. I think that video is gonna get postponed until later the week. I wanted to get out a quick guide for you guys since there's been a couple of events that have been released in relation to the Ice Golem. Right now we have a Ice Golem attack tournament with some okay rewards. But more importantly, we have two things coinciding outside of that. We also have a 3 times reflex gear, which is one of the best sets that you can farm on Ice Golem outside of Retaliation, Curse, and Provoke. But this is the main set that you want to be farming. And that is very relevant because right now everyone's burning gens, burning everything they got to do this Path of Vengeance. The reason is because it's a really easy way, or I guess not easy way, but accessible way of getting higher awakenings on your Artak, which is one of the main champions that you actually use on Ice Golem Hard 10. And the reason why I am going to be burning in all my gems to be able to get that 5-star gear awakening is because on hard dungeons you get a damage reduction from level 1 to 2 of 2.5, and then from 3 to 6 you get 5% damage reduction each. So by the end of it you'll get around 25%. Right now I have my Artak build on some Immortal and Perception. Once I get that done, I might redo my Artak to have one set of regen and a set of Defiant gear, because that way it'll give me an extra 15% damage reduction with that, mixed with the 25%, I guess 20% of the awakenings. That would be 35 plus this mastery here. It's called Blast Proof. You get another 5% damage reductions from AoE. So that means that the Ice Golem will be doing 40% less damage to me even when he does those big smacks. And because this has nothing to do with your defense, it's just pure damage reduction. And on top of that, you probably have, if you're running Elva alongside with him, you have a Veil on him. So that means that you'll get a bunch of extra damage mitigation from that, which means that I might be able to finally switch my Artak from a defense support to defense offense and going all the way to War Master. The relevance of that is then right now I'm running Artak as build right now with no damage whatsoever on Hydra. He still gets around 20 to 30 million damage, which is really strong, but I'm missing out on all the War Master procs. So maybe once I get that higher stats, it'll be a lot nicer for him to be able to resist and not get killed when I get retribution, retribution hit. My Elva doesn't really die because I have a build on 2 sets of Defiant. So she just, as long as there's a decreased attack on the Ice Golem, she doesn't die. Another reason why I think it's really important to go for this event is because if you're running Brimstone at level 5, that becomes a protected debuff. So that means that bosses will not be able to cleanse it. And especially on HP burners that do all their damage through their HP burn, and then you can just build a bunch of HP and defensive stats. Getting that debuff protected will mean that you're always going to start doing more and more damage quicker rather than having to wait until your HP burn comes around, because then that Brimstone is going to be protected and it's going to do a lot of damage, as you guys can see here, to the bosses. Outside of that, as I said, you get an extra bunch of damage mitigation just from the level of the stars, and then you're closer to the 6-star, and the 6-star also very impactful because you get another 15 speed and 25 accuracy, which is really good stats. But let's jump right into it. I just want to show you guys how my comp works and what's going on. It's very similar to what other people are showing around in the community, where you basically just use an Artak and an Elva. A lot of the speedruns that I've seen are using Theodore. I'm going to be using Drang, which does a similar job, and I'm also going to be running Kymar here, but you can run a Renegade. I tested it with Renegade before I built my timer for Ice Golem, and it just only added like about 10 to 15 more seconds. So once I show my stats, just you can use that Renegade. The only difference on second wave, your whole team is gonna lap around one more time before they do all their abilities, which it doesn't really. They won't take the enemies won't take a turn, so it doesn't really affect anything, except that it's just gonna make it 15 seconds longer. Another trick that I'm doing is I'm running Drang faster than my Artak on first wave, so that way if my Seer doesn't one-shot the waves, the extra damage from the damage explosion from Artak will do around and 15% damage. So that means that your Renegade, your Seer doesn't have to be as strong to kill the waves. So I'm gonna show you the run. I'm gonna put it a one-time speed, and then I'm gonna show you a full speed. So right here, basically, I start. Everyone just puts their buffs up for Renegade, then I get HP burn from Drang, and then I get an explosion right there. And that helps my Seer clear the wave. On this second wave, my Seer is not as strong as she needs to be to one-shot the waves, and because oh, and then she did in this time. But normally what happens is Artak, it outsped Drang so that he doesn't do his initial damage, which means that then Seer doesn't have enough damage to kill the wave. I'm gonna speed it up here just so we don't have to watch everyone just doing their abilities. But the idea is you want all your other champions except your HP burners to die, and the only people who are gonna stay alive is if you're not running Drang, your Elva and Artak will stay alive and kill the boss. The reason why I run Drang is because one, it helps me clear the waves because I have an extra HP burn and damage and percentage damage to the waves. And another thing that can happen is if the boss crits, he might kill one of your HP burners. It's very unlikely that he's gonna crit on both of them at the same time. So if one of them dies, it's fine, but it reduces the amount of times that this can fail. Unfortunately, on Ice Golem 10, there is no 100% team except if you're running Man Eaters with a what is her name? That OP champion from the that void champion. You know what, guys, what I'm talking about. But basically, there's no 100% team. This is the closest that it gets because I'm basically just using 2 HP burners and eliminating the chance of my HP burner dying and wiping my whole team. There's some times that if I get retribution because of the normal damage that they do, what will happen is that the Artak will die, Drang most likely won't die, so whoever has the one of the two that have the Veil will survive, and then the run will continue. It's very rare that the Ice Golem has enough damage to kill my Elva because she's built pretty well and it has a bunch of damage mitigation. I'm gonna run the same thing again so you guys can see how fast it can run on full speed, and we'll talk a little bit more about certain things you can do. If you don't have a strong enough Seer, what you can do is instead of running Drang, you can run a Lydia or defense down. The problem with Lydia is if you get retribution, right? She will revive himself and revive everyone in the team, and that'll make your run slower. Especially because if she revives Seer again and a bunch of people who have War Masters, they'll start doing percentage damage based on that War Master on the boss, and that could actually mean that you get retribution hit twice in a row, especially because of the karma burn on Seer. One thing that I do is I turn off karma burn on Seer for this section, even though I know she's gonna die, and I also, as you guys can see, you haven't seen a revive from Elva, so I turn Elva's revive. One thing that I would like to do in the future is be able to have War Master on my Artak and just be able to tank through retribution hits. As you can see, we haven't gotten any retribution hits on this runs, but it does happen. It doesn't happen often on this team because none of them have War Master, but there's always a chance. So I would say there's a 90s. This is a 97% comp, and it's fairly quick. Right now I'm running have really high graphic settings on the game, just so you guys can look how pretty the game looks on my new computer. But if I was running super low settings of graphics in here, this can go as fast as a minute 20. As you guys can see, my best time is a minute 17. So it's a pretty cool comp. I think there's a lot of different champions you can use. The best one that you could be using here instead of Drang would be as this girl here from the Devils. So I'm gonna show you that champion right now, which is called Cecilia. So if you have a Cecilia, she will be the best in slot instead of Drang, because she also brings HP burns, she also brings a combustion, and also brings weaken and decreases defense, which means that you're gonna have a lot of easier time killing those waves, right? So as you guys can see in my team, as I run it right now, none of my I don't have decreased defense nor weaken, so my Seer needs to be a lot stronger. So that is something, if you guys have CCI, which I don't, it'll make your life a lot easier. One other thing that I wanted to show you guys is my presets, which are really important. So let's go down to my team right here. So my Elva, it just through all the rounds, she's just gonna have, she's gonna prioritize her nature path, so that just buffs for Seer. Same on the second wave. In the third wave, where it doesn't matter what she's using, you can also set this as first priority, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna be turning off the sprouting season, so there's no revive. On Artak, what I like to do on first round is he starts with the Dogs of War, because my Drang is faster than my Artak. So what will happen is he'll put that HP burn first. He'll do the explosion, so that'll be around 15% less damage that your Seer has to do. And then the only issue is that on second wave, because you have burned 25% of your HP doing that, because of Artak's passive, you'll gain 50 more speed. So for second wave, your Artak, for example, my Artak is at 229 plus 50 speed, will be closer to 280 speed, and my Drang is not that fast. So that means that on second wave, what I have to do is still set Excessive Pyre from Drang to be the first move, but my Artak is gonna go first. So what I do is I have him do Chaos Racer first, and then do a second explosion, HP burn explosion on his second turn. Because he's going so fast, he's gonna overlap, so none of the ads are gonna have to take a turn anyways. For Kalmar, this is super simple. In any type of run that you're doing a speed run, you're gonna have Seal of Magic turn off on the first wave. Second wave, you're gonna have a Seal of Magic as its priority. Third wave, honestly, you want him to die, so you're gonna want to build him as squishy as possible. So in the second, once he gets to the boss, you want him to get one-shotted. And then Seer is gonna be same thing, Karma Burn first round, Karma Burn second round. I have him on right now because I know even if she gets a turn and does a Karma Burn, she's not going to do enough damage to put the boss over his threshold to do a Retribution hit, and then she'll die, even if that happens. So it doesn't really matter on my comp. When I get a higher Awakenings on her, I might have to turn this off because she will survive that hit anyways, and I don't want to run the risk of her coming around and doing a bunch of different things, and basically having everyone get killed. So it's not a super complicated run. I know my Artak is pretty well built, but it's now fully on defensive gear. He does not have any Defiance set, so if you have a Defiance set and you can get to around 350 accuracy and let's say 230 speed, you don't need to have as much HP as I do. I just don't have any defensive set on him. I just have 2 sets of Immortal and a set of Perception. So if you were to go with a Regen set and a Defiant, that would be equivalent and even better. That would be a stronger Artak. I just don't have the gear available to give him right now a Regen set. But once I get the 5-star Awakening, that might change, and that'll be pretty good for my account. So now that I've shown you guys this, all I want to show you guys is the stats of my team, and we'll wrap up the video. So as you guys can see, these are all the stats that I run. Elva is pretty well built. She's built on 2 Defiance and Immortal. She doesn't. A lot of people build her on Regen. I don't think it's not necessary because she herself has a healing mechanic. So as long as you reduce the damage that she takes with 2 Defiance set, she only needs 1 Immortal set to not die. Artak, as you guys can see, is just 2 Immortals, Perception, Regen on Drang. If you have a Cecilia, it'll be even better. And Cecilia, if you have Cecilia, she can die at the boss wave. You'll just have Artak kill everything. And then Kaimar and Seer are the normal builds that you would have on them. My Seer is pretty well built. She has 300 crit damage. But as you guys saw, if you were to use a Cecilia, then you wouldn't need her to be as strong because she one-shot the waves. The waves on on Ice Golem 10 hard are pretty squishy, so you don't need as much damage as you would need on other content. But I just, because I don't want to use or I simply just don't have a Cecilia to do that decreased defense weekend, then I have to have my Seer be stronger. So if you were to run her with Cecilia, she's probably can do it with around 250 crit damage. Um, and that's all I have for you guys. It's a pretty short and sweet video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. Another thing that I wanted to mention is every single video I try to fix one thing on to improve the quality of my videos. Last time I did learn how to use better software to do thumbnails. This time I fixed an issue with the graphic cards. I know as I told you guys from the first recording, I had a lot of issues with hardware. In second video, for some reason, it didn't. Me having a new computer didn't fix the graphics, so I had to figure out what it was doing in the background to mess up my graphics. But now, as you guys see, we have a pretty clear resolution on the video, so I'm pretty happy about that. Next time, I don't know what I'll fix, but probably gonna have to do with audio. So let me know how you guys are liking the videos, and if you guys have any suggestions of what other content you guys want videos on, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.